The floors are clean. When you walk in, if you look lost, like I do most of the time, and they'll walk up and say, can I help you with some? How many times do you see people say, can I help you anymore? They want to help you. And so I was inspired by seeing that. So I walked over to the counter and said, look, please tell the owners that I would love to speak to them about the way I was treated here. I just want to write just some type of testimonial or case study of some type. I said, but I'd love to just write about you, do something in the media. So they said, yeah, we'd be interested in you doing that. So all I'm saying here, guys, is it's so simple. The steps are simple, and that is building relationships. It's relationship building, because relationship building with your customers, your community, within the community, with your employees, all of it, and your customers, all of it will what? Will then charter really good waters for you. And then people will listen, and it builds trust. Truly does have it builds tremendous trust.
So much value in what you just shared, Marlene. It excites me, it empowers me, and I know that's what you love to give back to people. You love to empower and inspire others and have those conversations of discomfort. You love to have those brave conversations, and that just, lights up people because they need support. Right? We all need support to have those really hard conversations. And you provide that to people. You create that space for people to be able to share what their fears may be, or what their blind spots, like you said earlier before we started speaking, what they may be. And so to be able to have those really authentic, honest conversations to develop the foundation that we all need when we're starting a business, or we're starting a career, or if we're transitioning from a career or a business, they're so important to always check in, not only with ourselves and those around us, but someone else on the outside who can offer us, a greater perspective than those that are around us every day in our daily functions and our work environment. So I love that so much. And having those trustworthy, honest relationships and building those are so important, not only for the business, but for our health, right? And our employees' health. So can you share with our audience, sorry, how this impacts our wellness to be able to have these conversations, and what you've seen over the course of your career, because you've been doing this for quite some time. So I'm sure you've seen the good, versus not so good, and how this impacts people's health.
But goodness, I would say with me, it's more. I would say, but it's more mental. It is definitely impacts your mental stability, and then it drives. Listen, and then it drives an outrageous heartbeat too. So yeah, you do. You've got to take the time, and as Heather was saying, and take the time and just it's the I was talking with two ladies today. That I received. I'll talk to you later about this, but there are two women. I'll tell you what I was talking to them about. But the two women were actually looking at how we have to, step forward and not be so afraid of life itself, and that we live the journey. That's what we talked about. Stop and live the journey, because all we talk about are destinations, and we've got to stop and think of ourselves, as being more patient and taking the time that we need in order to get from let's go to point A to B and celebrate. Throw up some confetti, go get a slice of cake, get a cupcake or something. I'm saying to you, learn to appreciate yourself. Learn to do that, because the more that you appreciate and you love yourself, and as you were saying to Heather about the about self-care, that's when your customers can see it and your employees will see it. You've got to show not being arrogant, but I'm saying that you got to love yourself, and also appreciate the journey, appreciate it. And each day, look at there may be something that you didn't know that your child had maybe not just 5 toes, but 6 toes. But I'm just saying that you got to stop and just appreciate your spouse and the children, your the people that you collaborate with, those relationships that you love so. Because I'm very good friends with Heather, and when I talk to her, we are always so happy to see one another. Because I don't know if I'll be here tomorrow, but I know today I'm happy to see Heather. So all I'm saying to you today is please stop stressing over everything. Stop stressing about what's going to happen tomorrow. Plan, as I was saying, take that leap and sit down with a team and maybe set aside a quarterly meeting of some type or whatever times that you do take your meeting times and just share ideas and just comfortably share ideas. Come up with ideas together. I'm not saying be stressful about it, but take the time and appreciate those who are in front of you because you've got employees who are working along with you, or even if you're a solopreneur and you got individuals that you're training, that time that you spend with them, you may be the leader, but guess what? You never stop learning. I taught school. I taught a history class. And what we would do is I would have them to dress up in costumes. And I would give them, for instance, George Washington, when he crossed the Delaware, you remember it was icy. Ice was just everywhere, right? I had my students to dress up in costumes, and they had to take on the leadership role of historians. And then I asked them, George, you're about to launch over there and you're going to surprise them with this attack. What would you do differently from what you did maybe centuries ago? Tell me what you do differently, thinking today. So they say, that's a good question, Miss Foster. You know what I do differently? I had them to problem solve right there in front of the class. And then we did peer reviews of how well that person did and then also what we probably would have done differently. And so it helped us all because in the end, the person who led the attack will say, I didn't think about that. And somebody else maybe thought about something differently. So that's why I'm saying that it doesn't don't stress out about planning. And it's not plan, it's ing, planning, because planning is what? Consistency. Consistency, and it's not just you. You don't plan. So plan is when you're doing it all alone. Planning is if I reach out and I ask Heather to come on board with me. We collaborate and we do planning together. And we don't worry about things and we laugh about things and we talk about the what ifs and we celebrate what just occurred and we celebrate what may have happened right there on the spot. So learn to celebrate more, celebrate the journey, and you'll appreciate what? The future.